Hi, this is Sue Subcheck, and I just want to share information with Department of Defense families to let you know that you can homeschool where you're assigned in Europe. I live in Germany and I'm homeschooling in Germany currently. It's April 2020, and you can homeschool here if you're with the United States Department of Defense and you have the status of forces agreement status. So I'm a mom of 6 and I homeschool. I have graduated 3 of my older kids from homeschool in Germany, and another one is graduating this year, and then I have 2 more after that. So you can homeschool in Europe if you fall under the status of forces agreement. We call that SOFA. And you just need to find out if you have SOFA status. If you're active military, you have SOFA status, and most GS employees have SOFA status, if not all of them, and most contractors have SOFA status and can homeschool. You just need to make sure that you fall under that. And you can legally homeschool here as an American if you fall under that status. You don't have to follow any US state requirements or laws while you're homeschooling here under the SOFA status. You can teach what you want to teach in your homeschool. I recommend that you look and see before you start homeschooling and see if there's any changes from the time I made this in April 2020. A good place to look for information on homeschooling is the Homeschool Legal Defense Association. They have information on their website about laws, about homeschooling in military overseas, and are very helpful as far as the legal requirements for homeschooling, including military homeschooling in Europe. So the status of forces agreement is an agreement between our government and I'm in Germany, so the German government or which country you're in if you're stationed in Europe. And it says that we're exempt from the regulations of the receiving government or state. I'll show you what it says, and also I have a link to the copy of it so you can look at it yourself, the whole agreement. Here's just part of the agreement. It's Article 3, and it says that those of us under SOFA are exempt from the regulations of the receiving state on registration and control of aliens. So there's also the link there. It's a NATO document. That's the whole agreement that you can read the whole agreement there. And then there's also Department of Defense Educational Activity, the DoDEA, and they have a policy for education for those of us in Europe. And here's the important part. DoDEA recognizes that sponsors have a choice in educational options and that homeschooling is a viable option for educating dependents. Get rid of that kind of mess there. And Department of Defense says that students who are homeschooled are also eligible to have other services that DoDEA offers for free. So I'll show you a little bit more about DoDEA. What you can do if you're eligible to attend a DoDEA school but decide to homeschool, you can choose some extracurricular activities, things like sports. Most of the high schools have sports, and you can have your child just participate in the sports if you want to do that, or clubs or extracurricular activities that they have during or after school. And if your student is homeschooled, they can't participate in the DoDEA high school graduation ceremony. I don't want my kids to participate in it anyway because I've spent a lot of time homeschooling them, and we have our own graduation ceremony for our family. So here's DoDEA's policy. It was updated in October 2018. This is just a link to the whole policy, and then there's the instruction on homeschooled students. homeschool students, it's the Administrative Instruction 1375.01. So you can follow that link or Google that and it should come up for you. If you want a written copy, you can write to DoDEA in Virginia and ask them for a copy of the policy also. As far as what you need to do otherwise legally when you homeschool here, you don't fall under any of the states for homeschool or education laws because we are not residing in any of the states. Even if you're a resident of one of the states or you just came from a state, you don't have to follow that law if you're not residing in it now. Again, you can check with Homeschool Legal Defense Association, make sure nothing has changed, but that is the current truth. And each state is responsible for making their laws for education, but there aren't any laws regarding any requirements that we have to do here in Europe. So you don't have to follow any state laws. And as far as DoDEA, you don't have to do any paperwork or anything to homeschool here, unless, and I'll talk about one exception, is if your kids are in a school now, in a DoDEA school, you just have to contact the school and let them know you're going to withdraw them to homeschool. You do have to do that. You don't have to give the school a reason for why you're withdrawing them. You can if you want, but you don't have to. They just kind of want to know what to do with the paperwork. So they want to know if you're going to send them to a different school and if you need it for a different school, but you don't have to tell them what you're going to do, and they can't stop you from doing that. So you can teach what you want and conduct your school how you want to conduct your school. And there's the link for Homeschool Legal Defense Association, abbreviated HSLDA. So what do you do next? You start homeschooling, and I'm going to have some more information on my YouTube channel about what you can do and how to start homeschooling. If you have questions, you can comment on there also. Enjoy. Thank you.